What if Earth had massive rings like Saturn? Imagine the breathtaking sight of looking up and seeing bright, shimmering rings glowing in the sky, stretching across the horizon. These rings would be a constant reminder of the beauty and mystery of our universe, visible both day and night. Picture yourself standing outside on a clear day, gazing up at a brilliant arch of light that spans the entire sky. The rings would be composed of countless particles, reflecting sunlight and creating a dazzling display that would captivate anyone who looked up. Think about how our nights wouldn't be completely dark anymore. The rings would reflect sunlight even after the sun has set, casting a gentle glow across the night sky. This would transform our evenings into a time of perpetual twilight where the darkness is softened by the ethereal light of the rings. Let's dive into what Earth would be like with its own set of rings. The presence of these rings would not only change the way we see the sky, but also have profound effects on our environment and culture. First off, Earth's sky would be absolutely stunning. The rings would add a new dimension to our daily lives, making every sunrise and sunset a spectacular event. The interplay of light and shadow on the rings would create a dynamic and ever-changing sky that would never cease to amaze. During the day, you'd see a brilliant arch stretching across the entire sky. This arch would be visible from almost anywhere on Earth, providing a constant source of wonder and inspiration. The rings would be most prominent near the equator, where they would appear as a full circle, while at higher latitudes they would be seen as a partial arc. At night, those rings would reflect sunlight, lighting up the darkness. This would make it easier to navigate and see at night, reducing the need for artificial lighting in many areas. However, it would also mean that we would lose some of the deep black skies we're used to, making stargazing a different experience. It'd be like a permanent, natural light show. And guess what? The best views would be near the equator. Imagine standing in places like Ecuador, Indonesia, or Kenya, gazing up at those magnificent rings. These locations would offer the most spectacular views, with the rings appearing as a complete circle overhead. The best views would be near the equator. The rings would be most prominent and awe-inspiring in these regions, creating a unique and unforgettable experience for anyone lucky enough to witness it. Imagine standing in places like Ecuador, Indonesia, or Kenya, gazing up at those magnificent rings. The sight would be so mesmerizing that it would likely become a major tourist attraction, drawing people from all over the world to witness this natural wonder. It would be an experience like no other. The rings would not only be a visual spectacle, but also a source of inspiration and wonder, sparking curiosity and imagination in people of all ages. But it's not all just about the views. The presence of rings would affect our climate too. The rings could cast shadows on parts of Earth, possibly cooling those regions. This means we might have cooler summers in some places, providing a natural form of climate control. The presence of rings would affect our climate too. The rings could cast shadows on parts of Earth, possibly cooling those regions. This means we might have cooler summers in some places, providing a natural form of climate control. The rings could cast shadows on parts of Earth, possibly cooling those regions. This means we might have cooler summers in some places. Imagine that, a natural air conditioner. The rings would act as a giant sunshade, reducing the intensity of sunlight in certain areas and creating a more comfortable climate. This means we might have cooler summers in some places. The rings would act as a natural air conditioner, providing relief from the heat and making outdoor activities more enjoyable during the hottest months of the year. Imagine that, a natural air conditioner. The rings would create a unique and pleasant climate, making certain regions more habitable and comfortable. This could have significant implications for agriculture, wildlife, and human settlements. Now, let's talk about the night sky. Stargazing would be a whole new adventure. The rings would light up the night, making it never completely dark. This would create a surreal and magical atmosphere where the sky is always illuminated by the soft glow of the rings. Stargazing would be a whole new adventure. The rings would add a new element to our understanding of the cosmos, providing a constant reminder of the vastness and beauty of the universe. Observing the rings would become a popular pastime, with people gathering to watch the interplay of light and shadow on these celestial structures. Those rings would light up the night, making it never completely dark. It'd be easier to see at night, but also we'd lose some of the deep black skies we're used to. This would change the way we experience the night, making it a time of perpetual twilight rather than complete darkness. It'd be easier to see at night, but also we'd lose some of the deep black skies we're used to. This would have both positive and negative effects, making it easier to navigate and see at night, but also reducing the visibility of stars and other celestial objects. Can you imagine the impact on our culture? Songs, poems, and myths would be inspired by these celestial rings. They'd become a symbol of beauty and wonder, just like the moon and stars are today. The rings would influence art, literature, and even our daily lives, becoming an integral part of our cultural heritage. Songs, poems, and myths would be inspired by these celestial rings. They'd become a symbol of beauty and wonder, just like the moon and stars are today. The rings would be featured in countless works of art, literature, and music, becoming a source of inspiration for generations to come. They'd become a symbol of beauty and wonder, just like the moon and stars are today. The rings would be a constant reminder of the majesty of the universe, inspiring awe and reverence in all who gaze upon them. Would you love to see rings around Earth? Comment yes or no. The idea of Earth having rings like Saturn is a fascinating concept that sparks the imagination and invites us to think about the possibilities of our planet's future. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more mind-blowing science content. Thanks for watching. Your support helps us continue to explore and share the wonders of the universe.